Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and in this video, we are going to talk about the Ice Golem tournament going on for the next day and a half, where you can only use champions from the Galen Pact, which is going to be the Lizard, Ogryn Tribe, Skinwalker, and Orcs. So what we're going to do is talk about the team that I'm going to be using for this tournament. We'll talk about the rewards, if it's worth you putting together a team for this, and then if you do not have the champions that I have as an endgame player, we will go through the different factions and talk about some options to look out for that are a little bit more budget, like some rares and some epics that may be good for a tournament like this in case you are building a team for it. So let's get into it. Alrighty, now first of all, for if you should be doing this tournament or not, it is handy that we get the Soul Essence up on the top right. Blessings are a brand new mechanic to the game and pretty complicated. There's lots of different blessings, and you want different ones for different champions and different situations, which, by the way, we have a blessings page where it includes a tier list and a description of when and where to use them. I will link to that down below. Lots of really smart content creators that worked on putting that together. So if you haven't seen that yet, it is a great resource to have in your arsenal for blessings around these champions. I do like to get the different awakening mechanics whenever they're available because of that. So I'm going to do the tournament. If you're doing the Morrigan Fusion and you want to be a little bit more diligent about your resources, then maybe it's not the best choice to do this because you need to be doing the Spider Tournament and different things in the game that will be progressing you towards finishing the Morrigan Fusion to make sure that happens. Now, unfortunately, I'm kind of giving up on the Morrigan Fusion. I did a video yesterday talking about how I got screwed over and accidentally fed one of the rares, which means that I am essentially locked out of completing the fusion unless I want to go for the RNG and blow through a bunch of gems trying to pull ancient shards or something and hope for a rare or the epic that's part of the fusion. I'm not going to do that for Morrigan because it's not account changing enough for me to do that personally. So I'm going to just go ahead and focus on finishing up the Ice Golem tournament here today and into tomorrow. And now I'll show you the team that I'm going to be using for this tournament, and then we'll walk through some of the other champions that would be good options as well. So, okay, first of all, I say this in every tournament video, but sometimes you are a new viewer, and I want to make sure and just mention this really quick. Nothing wrong about dropping it down to stage 20. You don't have to force yourself to do stage 24 or 25 with 5-minute runs or something. Drop it down and do a different stage. It is fine for acquiring points, and actually stage 20 is the best for tournament points per energy spent ratio in the game. So I usually like to do stage 20 when I am going to be going for completing a tournament. A, because it's the best tournament points per energy, and B, because it makes it a lot less stressful on throwing together a team really quickly, where I can just throw it in and finish and be able to finish the stage because of having an end game account and stuff like that. So I'll show you the team that I'm going to be using. Obviously, I've got lots of legendaries that are pretty end game, so you may not have this exact team, and that's fine. Like I said, we're going to walk through some of the other options here in a little bit. But, you know, I've got the Uko from the Fusion that is recent a little bit ago. Draco is in an unkillable build. I had him as my clan boss, a DPSer, until I did the collab with Deadwood Jedi recently where we switched my composition to the Myth Fu. So that means Draco is a free agent now. I'm not really using him in any teams, even though he's a great champion. So he's still built in that relentless high damage build, which is perfectly fine here. He's a strong stage 20 Ice Golem is Spirit Affinity, so Draco cranking out damage. Krisk just for toughness, and Nekmathar for the general utility, and then Urigrim just to make sure I'm keeping people alive and to crank out some poisons and do some extra damage. This is not going to be any sort of speed run or anything like that, but it's going to be extremely consistent, and it should be around that 2-minute to 2:30 mark or so, somewhere in there. I don't need to blaze through this and do 1-minute runs. I'm not able to use something like a Seer. Seer is in the Orcs. I could try using it, but I wouldn't have a way to reset or anything. I guess I could try Seer instead of Urigrim and see if that is faster. It should still be 100% win rate, and I do have a lot of buffs going on with this team in Mighty Uko and Nekmathar and Krisk and Urigrim and all of that. So it might be worth trying. Without the reset, I'd question how successful it would be. You know, if this runs around 2 minutes, maybe it'd be around like 145 with Seer. It's rough. Without the reset, it really hurts the time. But hey, why not? We're doing a video. I'll contrast the different teams. You're gonna see this one somewhere between like 2 and 230, and then we'll go ahead and try it with a Seer and see if it ends up being better. So you can see this is extremely consistent, and the champions are staying pretty well topped off, and it is going to be right at about exactly 2 minutes. So now let me go ahead and swap in a Seer, and we'll see if that makes a difference. Okay, so let's swap in a Seer for Nekmathar, and let's see what we get here. I can make RSL maybe a little bit smaller, try to give you a look at what's going on. And let's see how fast we're able to blow through these waves. So my old composition was getting to the boss in just under a minute or so. Now this is where it's going to bog down a little bit because we don't have a reset, but we should still be able to get to the boss in like 45 seconds or so. There we go. We got the extra turn proc. So, oh wow, look at that. I mean, if that's going to happen every time, then we're going to go sub 30. So, okay, we may end up using the Seer even without the reset. I end up getting in this mentality of not wanting to use the Seer unless I can hyper optimize with like Kymar or Renegade or something. But we'll see. It might end up being worth it even without that mechanic. So okay, let's fast forward a little bit, and we were about to kill the boss. And yeah, it looks like, I mean, we did get good RNG, but we saved about 30 seconds there. I would expect to save maybe 10 to 20 seconds on average, but and for this run to be somewhere in that 130 to 150 mark. So yeah, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Seer, and that is gonna be the team that I end up using right there. I'm gonna go with the Mighty Uko, the Draco, the Krisk, the Seer, and the Urigrim as the team that I'm gonna be using personally. Now let's go over some other champions in these factions to watch out for when you are considering doing the Ice Golem tournament that's live right now. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the Golem Pact, which is Ogryn Tribes, Lizardmen, Skinwalkers, and Orcs. Now, in the Ogryn Tribes, Ignatius would actually be a great choice. He is a sturdy damage dealer. I put him in, and he wasn't really saving me any time, but he is a good fill-in option. Gerptuk can actually be surprisingly decent, a lot better than he gets credit for, can help you with some tankiness and some damage and blocking buffs and all that stuff, so he can be a fun one. Other than that, I mean, Drakgul can provide some toughness. Obviously, Ugo, one of the best epics in the game, would be fine here. Claude is a good speed booster. Other than that, obviously, Urigrim is in my team, and he is going to be like a top 25 epic in the game, so watch out for him as well. Some of your earlier compositions, Bellower is one of the best rares in the game. He's probably a top 10 rare, so if you are towards the beginners of players, watch out in case you have a Bellower for this tournament. For the Wizardmen, there's going to be a lot of good ones. Krisk, Draco, Fushan, Razin, Nekmathar, Chogger, like so many good ones. Jareg is good for tankiness. Venomage is a good general utility epic. Aox as well, I could see doing decent here. For the rares, there aren't a whole lot of great rares for Lizardmen. Bogwalker can do attack down, if I remember right. Yeah, decrease attack, so he'd be a good option for a budget because you want to lower the attack of the Ice Golem boss, especially if you are on a budget team. Harvespecs can be a reviver. Okay, let's go with next up Skinwalkers. Yeah, I mean, they've added some recently that are good. Sneak Troc, Uko, Ragash would be fine as a damage dealer. I mean, a lot of these would be perfectly fine for an event like this. Fane, I could see being kind of like in that Draco role, could really crank out damage and help you burst down the Ice Golem depending on the affinity you're doing. Other than that, not a whole lot to watch out for. On the Orcs, Kreela can be fun for cranking out a bunch of damage with the ally attacking. Iron Brago provides a lot of toughness. Araka, general utility. Duck is that same vein as like Stagnite and stuff like that. One of the best epics in the game. Sargala is a budget option for defense break. Is not great at it though because it is a 4-turn cooldown, which has kind of been power crept out of the game in the last couple years. I could see Tuhak being decent. And then for the rares, Veteran is a budget attack down option right here. Decrease attack on the A1. Other than that, not a whole lot to write home about. So hopefully that gives you a look at some other options if you are not quite in the end game with a bunch of different legendaries to choose from. And definitely let me know down below if you think my team can be optimized at all, if there's anything you disagree with, if there's a champion I should have touched on that I didn't. That would be great for this event. I always enjoy when the comment section becomes a resource for people as well, and appreciate your feedback down there. You do also want to take a second to pull up the tournament after a couple runs and make sure down here you are getting points. Sometimes people make a mistake and they think like Knight Revenant champion is in the orcs, and they end up making a mistake, and you end up blowing through 2,500 energy and you get 0 points. So you do want to make sure you are actually getting points, and double check that, because I've made that mistake before where I slam a bunch of energy into something and I didn't even have a team that was getting me points. So ended up blowing through all those resources for nothing. So make sure and double check that. And yeah, if you're going to be doing the tournament, good luck, and hopefully you win and get some Relentless gear on top of that. And also good luck if you are doing the More Gain Fusion. I got to get out of here. We are doing a hangout tonight at about 8 p.m. Central. Going to be hanging out with a bunch of content creators, giving away a gift card, doing some trivia with the viewers and stuff like that. So would love to see you there over on Twitch TV/Chose, and there's a link down to my stream down below. And I'm excited to hang out with all those content creators and talk some raid and gacha industry tonight. So if you're watching this video right when it comes out, be aware of that tonight, and you can always message me on Discord if you have any questions, or if you need links to anything. But yeah, remember to subscribe on your way out if you enjoy daily raid Shadow Legends content. I'll see you soon in the next video. Peace.